Good morning, Club E. Happy Sunday. Thank you for joining me today. Hopefully you all can still recognize me after my major hair chop. I don't think I've had hair this short since I was a little kid, so I'm still trying to get used to it. The last couple of months, we have been talking about some people in God's big story, and we've talked about people who have had their faith tested many times, but they put their trust in what they couldn't see because of what they could see. They trusted that God was with them. They saw the things God had done for them and the others throughout history, and they decided that they could trust God even when times were hard. And it's been an amazing journey through the Bible. And today we are going to be in the last chapter of the Bible, which is Revelation. The book of Revelation was written by one of Jesus' disciples named John. And at this point, John was a very old man, and he had been a prisoner on an island where people worked in mines. The Roman Empire had sent John there because he couldn't get John to stop telling people about Jesus. John had actually lived longer than any of Jesus' other disciples, and he had seen some amazing things happen. He had watched the early church grow as the story of Jesus spread. It must have been so exciting for him to witness this and see so many people following Jesus. But even though all these amazing things happened, John also had some difficult things happen to him. He had seen people who believed in Jesus beaten up, chased out of town, and even thrown into jail. Some of them even faced death just for talking about their faith in Jesus. But in John's final days, he knew that more people than ever followed Jesus. God's story was traveling from one end of the world to the other, just as Jesus had predicted. John heard a voice like a trumpet one day, and he turned and saw Jesus himself. Jesus' eyes were blazing like fire, and Jesus told John that he was going to show him a vision of things that would take place in the future. And he wanted John to write that down. That way John could share with others, and they could also believe. John watched as God showed him many things that were coming. Some were wonderful, and some were terrible, and some were just mysterious. Some of what John saw wouldn't actually make sense until it actually happened. After the vision ended, John began a letter to several of the new churches. He explained the strange and amazing things he had seen. The last part of John's vision, God showed John how the story would turn out for everyone who believes in Jesus. John did the best he could to put in words what he had seen, even though he fully didn't understand it himself and what it all meant. John described a new heaven and a new earth. When John saw the new heaven and new earth in his vision, he remembered what Jesus had said right before he died and came back to life. This is from John 14, verse 2 through 3. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I am going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, so that you may also be where I am. And when John remembered that, John realized what Jesus was talking about, a place where he would never be separated from God. And then he heard a voice from the throne. From Revelation 21, verse 3 through 4. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, Look, God's dwelling place is now among the people, and he will dwell with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, or mourning, or crying, or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. So that verse was basically saying, in the future, God will make everything new. Everything will be exactly the way it should be. John noticed that there was light all around too. He wrote, The city does not need the sun or the moon to shine on it, for the glory of God gives it light, and the Lamb is its lamp. And not only was the light beautiful, but John also described the town itself. This is from Revelation 22, verse 1 through 2. Then the angel showed me the river of the water of life, as clear as crystal, flowing from the throne of God and of the Lamb, down the middle of the great street of the city. On each side of the river stood the tree of life, bearing 12 crops of fruit, yielding its fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations. Then John went on to describe the people. No longer will there be any curse. The throne of God and of the Lamb will be in the city, and his servants will serve him. They will see his face, and his name will be on their foreheads. So John could see in heaven everyone was living out their life the way they were supposed to, without sin or frustration or exhaustion. John didn't know exactly when the things God showed him would take place, but neither do we. And because of what we've seen and heard, we can be certain that in the end, God will make all things right for those who put their faith in him. It can be hard for us to understand everything that we read in John's vision, and it can be hard for us to understand some of the things that happen to us in life. But we can be sure that God has a plan, and in the end, his plan is good. We can see this from the very beginning of the Bible to the very end of the Bible. And it's difficult for us to imagine what our forever home will be like with God. There is a lot we don't know, but we can focus on what we do know. We know that God gives us exactly what we need, and everything is perfect in his timing. And he is a very faithful leader, and we can trust him no matter what. Now that we are finished with our lesson, I have 3 questions for you that relate to our story. The first question is, when have been some times when you have felt overwhelmed? The second question is, when you feel overwhelmed, what do you do to stop those feelings? And the third question is, what are some ways you feel closer to God when you have those feelings of uncertainty or anxiety? So these are great questions to think to yourself or discuss out loud with your family. Well, Club E, I hope you enjoyed talking about John today. I hope you guys had fun and are able to take away some things from this lesson. So since it is the end of the month, to finish up our lesson today, we are going to play a fun game of Would You Rather Bible Edition. So after I read a question, you can pause the video to think about or discuss your answer. So my first would you rather question for you guys is, would you rather have seen the Red Sea be parted or see Jesus walking on water? My next question is, would you rather have dinner with Moses or Paul? My third question is, would you rather be able to feed 5,000 people with 5 loaves and 2 fishes or heal someone's blindness? My fourth question is, would you rather spend 1 hour in heaven or 1 week on earth with Jesus? My next question is, would you rather sit at the feet of Jesus while he teaches or prepare supper for Jesus and the disciples? My next question is, would you rather face Goliath with only a stone and slingshot, or would you rather wander in the desert for 40 years? My next question is, would you rather eat like Daniel, who had to eat vegetables only, or would you eat like Elijah and the widow and eat bread only? My next question is, would you rather name the animals or build the ark? My next question is, would you rather betray Jesus or deny Jesus? That's kind of a tricky one. My next would you rather question is, would you rather be a fisherman or a tax collector? Would you rather be a sheep or a shepherd? Would you rather see Jesus walk on water or see him heal a blind man? And my last would you rather question is, would you rather hear one of Jesus' sermons or see him perform a miracle? I hope you enjoyed that would you rather, and I hope that made you think a little bit and maybe have some good discussions with your siblings, parents, or whole family. So thank you again for joining me today, Club E. I hope you guys all have a wonderful week, and I will see you next Sunday.